Hello, and welcome to The Worm Show. I'm your host, Thorn Jules. Well. Here we are at a bit of a sticky point. I've had some issues. I was getting really super frustrated because I was finding mold in the box after I was doing feedings. And although I was pretty set on sort of reaching out and getting advice and stuff, I'm not very good at doing that. And one of the things that I really sort of thought about as I was thinking through what I had done wrong was that I think the food was the problem. I was putting in the residuals of my processing of certain plants that I'd had on my balcony, and some coconut oil, which I'd been infusing said plants with. And I think that probably led to the mold. Putting that into the feed was a huge mistake. That's my theory anyhow, and I'm sticking to it. I am at the point where I should be reaching out and asking for help, and I will do that. But in the meantime, I've been feeling bad because I have not been well, and I've let these worms sort of just fend for themselves, which of course they can't do. I need to take care of them. So today I'm going to feed the worms. I'm going to put down a little bit of bedding, and then I'm going to actually off camera, I'm going to scoop up some worms from the bottom and basically reintroduce the top box again with clean food. Food that I know doesn't contain any of that material that I've been using. I got rid of the food that had. And I think that will make all the difference. And I'm going to feed set up the top box and feed it more slowly this time around. I think that will make a difference. I can add food, and I can add bedding, and add food and bedding, and just sort of let the process sort of build up rather than trying to fill the box and just, let it run its own course. I think I need to pay more attention, frankly, which is usually oftentimes part of the solution to dealing with problems. Anyhow, here we are. I'm dealing with a head cold that I can't shake. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. But let's push on regardless. I'm just going to record myself with the feeding process. You can see a brush there, and I can imagine that would be like, what is the brush doing? What are you doing with that brush? Well, I don't like the idea of leaving any of these creatures behind, and that's exactly kind of what happens when I do like this here. You see, I don't want to leave behind these little creatures on the side here, and I see a whole bunch of them down there. Actually, it's wild. So I'm just gonna very gently sweep them off and get into my own light, which is a really cheeky thing to do, but here we are. And I'm just going to scrape off any of the little creatures that are there. I want them all in the box because I'm going to, after I feed this, I'm going to close the top box off. I'm going to put the blanket on. And for the time being, so have I screwed up the... As I say, folks, I'm not a professional. And I'm going to clean this top box. And then tomorrow, I'm filming this on Saturday night. This is my Saturday night fever. This is my party night, Saturday night in my home. Anyhow, I'm going to just give this a bit of a clean. And then I'm going to, tomorrow, I will reintroduce this as the top. I'm going to give it a bit of time where I can... Okay. So I hope that's sort of capturing and not ruining my shot. Of course, I'm totally ruining it, but anyhow. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside for now. We'll get back to it. Now, what I'm thinking, and I really don't want to mess with this setup at all, really. Like, this is a terrible shot. I'm very sorry. I'm using a tripod that I don't have as much familiarity and comfort with, so I'm sorry that this is probably not looking great, and you can see the bloody whatchamacallit's in there. You can see the tripod legs in there. Tap and hold to adjust. There we go. Here we go. That's like, hey man, there we go. We're figuring out how to use this thing. Amazing. Okay. I'd like to think that's an improvement. Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll zoom a little bit more. Okay. This is what you're all paying me the big bucks for. Just kidding, of course. Now, I'm just going to remove this here. I'm anticipating that there's going to be a lot of worms under there. And look, there's a bunch of them here. Which is really fun. But what I want to do, well, maybe I'll feed there. That's kind of a fascinating idea. I'm really curious on that. I'm going to feed this top area, because these worms they need to be fed. These poor worms, I have been neglectful. Actually, I don't like what I'm doing here. This wasn't my plan. Sorry, worms, sorry. What my plan was to get under, yes, my plan was to get underneath this thing. Whoa. Okay, that's kind of gross. I'm not grossed out, but anyhow. Okay, so what I will do, there we go. Yeah. Okay, now I'm feeling better now. I like this much better. Okay, so I'm going to just pop a bunch of this food at the very top here. I'm going to just pop this on top. Let this come to room temperature. Obviously, I've made a lot of processed worm food, shall I say? I've made a lot of it. A lot of it's in my freezer. Too much, frankly. So it's nice to be able to get rid of some of it and make more space in the freezer and try not to create as much of it. I mean, I cook for myself. You've heard me say this before. If you've watched my videos before, you know that. I hope you do too. If you're watching this, I imagine that you probably do cook for yourself. Oh, I see a nice little bit of mango there, mango peel. I'm sure they'll enjoy that. So, anyhow, I think if you cook for yourself, if you know how to cook and you take care of what you put inside your body, you'll just be better off. Okay. I know, such a radical thing to say. I am a radical. Anyhow, okay, here we are. Bedding. This is the key, I think. I had to put some new bedding down because it's great for them to have some food, but they need to be able to move around as well. And I think that probably with all of that castings, they're basically like, I'm at this point I'm hesitant to dig into this substrate and like look around and see what's going on. I'm sure there's a bunch of worms down there. I'm sure they're hungry. So I suspect that what is going to happen is that they will come up to eat the food and all mingle together in the bedding. I suspect that's what's going to happen. So when I reopen this tomorrow, I expect that they'll open this and find this just full of worms because, you know, these worms are, once the creatures in here are hungry, they'll come to the surface, they'll sense and smell that food, they'll come up, and, you know, they'll find the, you know, this bedding, and it'll be easier for them to move around in. And then tomorrow when I come back to this, what I'm planning to do is I will reintroduce the top, maybe with about half the amount of bedding as I've put down before, or maybe a third, so that I'm not putting so much bedding down. And I will, yeah, I'll put this over here, I think. There we go. Hello, little wormy. That's nice to see that there are little worms, little guys too. That's really good to see. Anyhow, so yeah, so I will, when I come back in for feeding time in the zoo tomorrow, I will put the top, whatchamacallit, this one over here, I'll put the top one down with more food, more bedding, and the worms that I rally out of the bottom box here. They will come in, and I will introduce them to the top box. And at that point, I think what I'm going to do is I will put the top box down without any kind of barrier, just so that the worms can really freely move in between this mesh and the bottom layer, and so that there will be a much easier transfer between the two, yeah, so then I suspect that will help me to sort of get back on the I don't know, whatever. Get back on the right track. Okay. There we go. I think I have got things sorted for now. There's always something that I have done that no doubt will prove, maybe, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll just see what happens. I can see that I've made a mess with the with the lid of this. Like, look at that. Oh well. I mean, it's full of worms. It's bound to get dirty, right? Isn't it? Like, anyhow. So I'll put the blanket down. Feels nice and squishy. I feel much better now having fed the worms. I felt really bad because, you know, I don't want to think about how long I've left them. Just sort of, I haven't, as I said, I haven't been well, and I felt kind of knocked back in the last couple of weeks. But the system is still ticking over. I'm excited to see what it looks like tomorrow when I come back and put the third layer on top. I'm really keen to see how the worms in this particular box have reacted to their feeding and their new bedding. And yeah, and now the fridge is kicked back on. I think I'll end this video. Thank you for watching. If you've watched all the way this far, I'm really, really super grateful. Please comment. If you haven't subscribed, if we haven't earned your subscription yet, please do. Or tell us in the comments why not. Click like and all those silly things that help us with the algorithm. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Ciao for now. Hello. Well, here is the result of my work. I excavated, well, however many worms this is. I won't keep them long because I'm sure they're not exactly enjoying the light. Oh, look who we have over here. Little Molly. Anyhow, I extracted all of these and have put them into a bed with a whole bunch of bedding and a whole bunch of like some rice cake in there and a few other things, some blackberries, there's a few other things in there, kiwi fruit skins and so on. Anyhow, so yeah, tomorrow I will put these into the top tier, and that will be the start of the third tier. Hopefully they will be happy. I will, yeah, film that. And for now, I'll switch this off and let them settle in. They were not exactly happy as I went and sort of picked through and picked them out of their casings. I was very, very happy to see that the bottom layer is doing very well. The worms in there are still having a very good time. They're multiplying. There's a whole bunch of little babies in here. So anyhow, very happy. And yeah, we will come back to that tomorrow. And there she is, Molly. So sweet. Right on.